Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking out time to join my masterclass on DigiSmart. Most of you know me, and for others who don't know me, my name is Amit Butani. I'm a transformation coach, mentor, author of my best-selling book, Back to Basics, Simplify Living, available on all leading platforms, and curator of my own X-Form 6-step well-being program. I'm so happy and glad that you have taken this step towards your transformation by being DigiSmart. And this will be a 40, roughly to 45-minute session. And I would request to make it impactful and beneficial to all, kindly request all of you all to mute yourself throughout. Keep your video off so that the buffering can be smooth in case there is any internet speed issues. And kindly ensure that no distractions around so I can have your full attention for this webinar. If there's any question, please put it out on the chat and I will try and address them if I can. I'm not an expert in this. I'm learning along the way as all of you who have done research on it, but I have gone into in-depth analysis of this and have gained some insight that I would like to put in this and I would like to put this relevant data that I've heard, and cover as much as ground as possible about the subject in this masterclass. Yeah. But before we start, please have a look at this video that I'm going to share. So I hope you guys can see the video. So that was really an eye-opener, wasn't it? Let me get back to sharing the slides. Just a second. Okay. So that was one video, a hell of a video. And it was impactful, right, for you? If yes, then please type yes on the chat if you agree. Yeah. Now, what is the big idea of this masterclass? Disconnecting from the online world can help you reduce stress drastically. You can enjoy more real-life connections and experiences, and you can benefit from your mental health. Now, type yes if you agree. And how many of us are really slave to this digital device, whether it's laptop, mobile phone, or Netflixing, or watching, unlimited series just before, going back to sleep. Type yes in the chat box if you agree. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, even I'm guilty of it, at times. Now, if we don't have this session, then you'll land up ending with no me time for yourself. You'll find yourself distracted, not being, focused to work towards your goals. Say, for example, if you're working on a project, you're getting some work done and there comes, a push notification while you're working on your mobile phone. And lo and behold, a couple of hours have gone by and you feel irritable and useless as you have not done anything productive. You might then be binge watching before going to sleep. This interferes with your sleep patterns, and that's the reason I've listed down all their sleep hygiene, which leads probably to irritability the next day. It leads to mental well-being and a state of mind, and you don't realize day by day you're getting your quick fix through this digital media, and you're becoming like an addict. Correct? Write down who feels this way. Distract. Type down the word distract in the chat box if you feel this way. And who feels unable to fall asleep right after gadget time in the night. Write down sleep. Come on, let me see. Yeah, correct. So there's this beautiful quote that there is, which says that one study found out that around 25% smartphone owners between the ages of 18 and 44 don't remember the last time their phone wasn't right next to them. Wow, I mean, isn't that like an eye-opener or a shocker? 40, 18 and 44, like 25% of this age group between 18 and 44 don't even remember the last time the phone wasn't right next to them. Let that just sink in on what's mentioned out here. So if we have this session, you know, at the end of this session, you will end up using hacks and techniques to make you feel more calm and centered, and not being urged to look at every new notification that pops up, or get distracted by the ping noise that your phone throws up every now and then. You would learn to be more productive. You would have reclaimed hours of productive time back to work towards your goals, towards budgeting, to cleaning up your cupboard, if it be all any pending task. You Social media is also at sometimes really illogical, and you land up doing psychological comparisons. You get FOMO. This is the slang, fear of missing out. You find yourself not doing anything, or you feel like very belittled when you compare yourself to what people are doing and posting pictures of their travel, about achievement, about accolades. So if you can disconnect from this, you start feeling a lot better about yourself, because you're working towards your own productiveness, your own goals, and your own well-being. Instead of digital hours which you claim back, you would kind of spend time outdoors, and maybe while walking or taking your pet for a walk or anything, getting that vitamin D. So you would definitely have a lot more of time for yourself. you know so it's really important you sleep better, you would feel better, get healthier. So once you get off this digital technology or this digital product, you'll really realize the kind of hours that you have saved during the day to do things that you really want to do. Like I said in my previous slide, to work towards your goal, towards your well-being, to work on that project that you kind of shoved it down for some later time, and you start taking actions now. Now what I wanted to tell you is about my digi addiction. Yeah. So my goal is I'm working as a transformation coach. And so I'm helping individuals struggling with well-being and fitness issues to live a quality life of energy and vitality. Yeah. At the same time, I was working on my book, which just got released and doing phenomenally well, which is called Back to Basics, Simplify Living. I was working on content, and then getting carried away with all the other content, and maybe some kind of distractive content that is available online. It happens to the best of us. So it leads, and what happened was, I was also prone to a lot of late night serving before sleeping. It was interfering a lot with my sleep patterns, my circadian rhythm. It became like a fifth limb, like an extension. Wherever I went, I had this handheld device with me, and a lot of us can relate to it. You go to the washroom, or you're going for a shower, you have the music on. If you are having a chat with someone, you're still on the gadget. If there is a meeting room, and I've noticed this so often that there is a discussion going on, there are 4 or 5 people who are present over there. Nonetheless, you will find those 2 and 3 people who are constantly looking at their phone, or there is a notification that they get distracted by during a meeting, and they look at it, and they pick up the phone, and they're trying to answer. So So basically, uh, and then what happens is the late night surfing and the digital addiction that happens just before going to sleep, as I told you, it interferes with your biorhythm, and then you are sleep deprived the next day, and that leads to irritable and annoyance. You feel groggy and you don't feel productive the very next day. Then you're also, there's so much of instant stimulation and things that need to be done when you are out there on the digital platform. You're anxious that so many things need to be done, and you want to get this thing done, and that leads to more anxiety, and it becomes a vicious circle. You start becoming really harsh on yourself when you compare yourself on what's happening on the digital media. You start striving towards perfectionism, which is again a big again a big kind of a painful experience that you impose upon yourself. You want to be perfect in all areas of what you put out there to the world. You have this need for a constant trigger, like a dopamine effect. you know you're always looking out for social validation. You're looking out for more likes. You're looking out for more follower base. And then and these engines are meant to kind of keep you involved, engrossed, and keep you stimulated throughout the reels, or whether it's Facebook watch. All of them are kind of programmed or have an algorithm running that wants you to be constantly stimulated and not let go of this gadget. Type yes if you can relate to any of this on the chat box. Okay. So what is detox? A digital detox refers to a period of time when a person refrains from using tech devices such as smartphones, televisions, computers, tablets, and social media sites. So I want to say, for many people, who are being connected and immersed in this digital world, is just part of everyday life. According to research by the Nielsen company, the average US adult spends around 11 hours each day listening to, or watching, or reading, or interacting with media. Ain't that an eye opener? Now, what are the telltale signs that you need digital detox? Okay. You feel anxious or stressed out if you can't find your phone. You feel compelled to check your phone every few minutes. You feel depressed, anxious, or angry after spending time on social media. You are preoccupied with the like, the comment, or reshare counts on your social post. You're afraid that you'll miss something if you don't keep checking your device. You often find yourself staying up late or getting up early to play on your phone, and you have trouble concentrating on one thing without having to check your phone. Who feels like, in this? Okay. Yes, this I agree. I'm constantly looking at the phone. That's crazy. Yeah, these statistics are really crazy, Raji. So I want to share with you some really startling statistics that I have here. UK adults spend on an average 8 hours 45 minutes a day on screen, more time than you are actually sleeping. We now spend an average of a day a week online. Just a second. So UK children spend about 6.5 hours a day on screens. The average user logs about what? 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day on social media alone, up from 1.5 hours in 2012. Can you just see the jump? And they check their smartphone every 12 minutes. A 2016 study estimates that we tap or we swipe and click on our devices 2,617 times each day. Can you even imagine that we are so unconscious about our behavior with the digital tech or interacting with the tech media? We really don't know about these startling facts. Yeah, so Rajiv has a good point. He says, has the pandemic increased the problem? Yes, it has. And all of us been, fallen prey to that, unfortunately. And this is definitely caused a jump in terms of our interaction with the social media, whether it's the adults, whether it's, children, whether there are teenagers, or whether, they are in the age group of, in their 20s or their, late teens. You take in all the age group, and everyone is just succumbed to this addiction of this digital fixation because of the pandemic. But now when things are opening up world over, we are going to see a huge what do you call, a withdrawal symptom, like how we are, if someone is going through a rehabilitation center, or someone is going through AA, like an Alcoholic Anonymous, the same withdrawal will be felt by teenagers, children, adults, everyone, because digital interaction has kind of taken over our lives. So we kind of become a slave to it. But now it's high time that we say no, and we take these hours of, productivity back and work towards our well-being, our goals, things that we want to do. Of course, we don't say that don't get off digital media. It's equally important, but you should be smart enough to find that right sweet balance between digital addiction and, your time, actually interacting with the environment around you that you live in. 2000, so basically UK adults now spend a total of, how much is that, 25 hours a week online, up from 9 hours a week in 2005. And 34% of people have, and this is hard hitting guys, have checked Facebook in the last 10 minutes. That's crazy, isn't it? Okay, I'm just gonna, but light is always there at the end of the tunnel, and we need to work towards detox, or rather what this masterclass means is being DIGISMART. So I want to ask yourself the 5 things that you have said no in the past that you wanted to do but you didn't have time for. It's a very powerful question. I would urge whoever are the participants, write it on the chat box. Any 5 things that come up in your head that you have said no in the past for, but you wanted to do, but you didn't have time for. Okay, learning how to play the flute. Wow. Someone says, I want to read that book that it's lying on my side desk, following my passion. Absolutely. We have said no to things in the past because we say we don't have time for, but what is the reality? I mean, is it really a fact that we really don't have time, or we have not prioritized our time? Want my kids to talk more to me? Absolutely. And they have also fallen prey to this digital, what do you call, digital tech product, so that's really unfortunate, but there is light, and we need to work towards digital detoxifying ourselves, and as well as let our children see our behavior and imbibe from us. Playing video games is a big one. So I had played a video at the beginning of the masterclass, which shows a lot of people spend hours online gaming, which is such a big phenomenon these days. And there are people, actually experts on YouTube, which run through you the entire series of a particular game on maybe a PS4 or a Nintendo or an Xbox, and they have million of follower base. So can you just imagine what this is? Just a Pandora's box ready to explode. Let's see how of it. How do we digital detox? So we first need to find out what is an ideal screen time for everyone. Okay, so there is no like a set standard for screen time. For example, if you're really a content creative writer who uses social media a lot for content, for researching, you need to find out the right balance for you. What is an ideal screen time? What is essential you need to classify in your daily life? What is non-essential you need to classify? And also, it would be a really good idea if there are family or your spouse or your children or your office colleagues, if they can give you a feedback, on how much time you spend. So non-essential items could be, you probably don't need to see or pick up that phone when there is a push notification while driving or while eating. How many of us are like eating and kind of looking at a cell? Maybe it's at workplace, sitting in the canteen, or maybe you're at home, you're sitting on the table and looking at the screen, or you have your laptop, you're answering emails while eating or doing something. Everyone can relate to this, yeah, and everyone does this, and the worst part is that, you always, those who have kids, you have sometimes kids talking to you, and or your parents are talking to you, and you observe that during that conversation you are answering them while looking at your handheld devices, and replying to them. What kind of message and or emotional intent you're sending to your kids or to your parents at during that time? So observe this, even during social gathering with friend, when you're all out together, and or you're in an office meeting, you'll definitely see this kind of urge for the phone to be picked up, to be seen, or something needs to be answered. So everyone falls for this. Very good point. We quit phones while eating. That's absolutely important. You need to concentrate it and be mindfulness of the food that you're putting into your body. So that's a great initiative. But I have noticed in the past, and kids are having a conversation or they want to share something with you, and we as parents are involved in looking at our phones, and kind of doing our activity, and just answering them without kind of looking them straight into the eyes, giving them that focus, that attention to understand them, or whether your parents are talking to you. So we need to really have, what I say, digital ethical manners. So there is a beautiful thing which I want to share with you, and there is, on all of our phones, we have something which is called as parental control, or we have what is known as screen time, digital well-being and parental control. So here you will see this. Sorry, it's kind of echoing here. So you will see the apps that are using, what are the apps that you've been using, and how much of screen time you're spending on each of these apps, and also be able to kind of set a timer for each of these apps, so that the buzzer comes out, or probably you have an important day or meeting that you're preparing for. You can always put up a timer saying that these apps will not even open during that period of time. So this parental or digital well-being software is inbuilt in all iOS and on Android devices, which can be used intelligently. And that's a start. That's a place to start from. Now, how to detox? Some kind of session suggestions that I have is, start with 1 hour probably of your gadget, TV, laptop, cell phones. Call this your me time or your zen time. You might feel restless, so indulge in something like a flow activity which you really feel like doing, or pick up a book, or basically try being, at least as a start, to keep 1 hour away from any digital technology. And when I say digital technology, I mean to say your handheld devices, your laptop, the OTT platforms that you're watching on your television. Start off with at least a 1 hour refrainment from these digital gadgets. Second is, find time to be in your flow. What I mean by flow is that period of time that is only for your enjoyment and well-being, where you do things what you love to do. I love to, for example, play the guitar or the tabla. Some person might just like to pick up a book and read while sipping on a hot cup of coffee. Or someone might just like I heard previously on the chat, someone who wants to play the flute. So take out time and be in your flow during these times. Now, there's another thing. There's another thing that you can do out is that right after you get up, in the morning, don't reach for yourself. That's the morning wake up. Don't reach for yourself, because once you will do that, yeah, you will start again getting hooked on and start surfing and checking out, your phone and getting involved in it. Instead, in your morning wake up, you meditate or do your morning routine, whatever that I mean. Just delay the time you reach for that phone. Can you please post on your social media the parental guidance thing? Yes, of course, I will do that. There is a software. I will explain it with screenshots and put it on social media on how you could do that. It's very simple. It's very simple. Before sleeping, at least 1 to 2 hours, we need to have a no gadget rule. No blue light hitting you. Instead, you could journal how your day went. What did you learn? Journaling is so important and so effective. You can reflect on the day that went by. What did you, and set your intent for the next day. Say yes, who all are in for this. I mean, it's not just about sharing knowledge. It's about applying the knowledge that you learn. Great. Now, this is a really important one. Those who have kids, yeah, get them involved. Kids learn from parents. Do something with the kids, say today, let us try and concentrate on a breath and do meditation, maybe for 5 minutes also, or maybe concentrate, or maybe, play a board game with them. Like we as a family member during the pandemic used to play a lot of Cluedo or Uno or Monopoly or a life game. Someone suggested I think we should read a book for the kids. Why not? I mean, reading a book is so important because there is no limit into the imagination in your head. I mean, you could read a particular chapter or a paragraph, and then you visualize and your imagination takes over, and it's a beautiful kind of a beautiful picture with endless creativity that gets created on reading a book. I definitely do recommend reading a book, and there are so many good books out there, whether you're looking at fiction or whether you're looking at non-fiction. Outdoors, I mean, I cannot say this enough. Coming from a well-being, fitness, and a sport background, outdoor activities, maybe like a trekking, or even going for a drive with the kids. They want to go it. Maybe in the morning do some kind of small yogic pranayam exercises in the sun when the sun is there. Get some vitamin D. Getting outdoors, there's nothing like getting outdoors and being in the nature. I just love trekking and going for hikes on weekends with my friends, like-minded people. And believe you me, you end up after the trek, feeling like, you're drugged. I mean, you're in this state of bliss for at least 3 or 4 days after your trek. So outdoors is a must. We need to inculcate that in our daily schedule, daily, weekly, however. I mean, you need to be outdoors. Um, I think we should read a book, and I try to change things between reading and educating, watching a movie, so that we kind of keep the time with them off digital. Yes, of course. Meditating, yes, of course, meditating, absolutely, absolutely. That's beautiful initiative that you're taking, Rajiv. I mean, that's excellent. Now, there's also a lot of us are living in the head than living, life. And it's so important to be living in the now moment. There are such beautiful breathing techniques that help you get more present and live less in the mind and more in the now, where actually life flows. Simple thing like breathing in deeply through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, like 5 quick breaths, like you can do this anytime and you get centered and grounded in the present moment. Just try that. Never, and now the last point is never have your gadgets under your pillow. If you have a landline and people really need to reach out to you, they can reach out to your landline. So we as a family keep our phone in an airplane mode and the Wi-Fi is off so that there's no data transferred, and keep the gadgets away from you guys and girls when you're sleeping in the night. Yes, sure. I can make I can make a generic calendar for switching off gadgets and timers. No problem. So I just, yes, one more. Sorry. Yeah. So another slide is how to detox. Another suggestion, which is called a win strategy. That means what is important now. What's not important now that does not require you to get on to the gadget, get rid of that. What you need to sort out by using that digital technology, do that. So that's called the win strategy. Win strategy. WIN. What's important now? Understand the emotions that are using. You are reaching out for that phone. What is the underlining emotion behind that? Is it for pleasure? Is it become an habit? Is it there? It's kind of gratifying you at an emotional level somehow. Understand the intent, reason, question yourself. What is the emotional intent behind that? Now, because this is so crazy because the digital realm is actually dopogenic. It keeps you involved. It's just meant to keep you involved. The algorithms are automated and based on your personal behavior, your selection, where you are, where the screen is pausing on your device, for how long, what did you click, what did you like, what did you reshare. They have created a personal environment for you based on your past behavior. And it's only developed to keep you hooked on. So you really need to take a conscious action to detox. And this is a beautiful, I learned this from one of my mentors, and he says that, use an old school timer, those big clocks with those two bells on the side, and it rings loud in the morning. Keep like a 30-minute clock out there if you're on your digital app, and it starts ringing, and like, okay, that's time for 30 minutes for my leisurely scrolls on either Instagram or Facebook or whatever that research that I'm doing, which maybe it's not that important. And then that's like a shocker ringer. It's like really loud, and you say, okay, this is my time. I need to get off the device. So this old school timer really works. You can just get it on Amazon or anywhere else. Like I said before, don't use your cell as an alarm clock, because then you just pick up and start using it and then checking on your notification. And that's not just the way you need to get up, for get up in the morning. That's not the first thing that you should be doing. Yeah. A lot of people that I know have got something called as a phone-free bedroom rule, which could be applied in the night. So for probably you could say that, no phone gadgets when you're entering into the room, say after 10:30. Or if you have a router that is shared between you, if you're living in, if it's just you and your kids, and then you could have a rule and say like 10:30 p.m., I switch the router off. So you can't even watch Netflix or whatever that gadgets are feeding upon on the internet. So you just keep them kind of, it's just a hard rule. Everyone needs to follow that. So this is something which is really drastic. Maybe that could be applied later, but I think this phone-free bedroom rule and having a hard time where the router switched off is really important. Also, I wonder if you could share some more stories about outdoor activities like a full day family outing. Absolutely. So there is so much that you could do. I mean, there are these beautiful treks. Luckily for us, I stay in Mumbai, and there are these beautiful fort treks right around Mumbai all over. And you could always choose, and I could probably suggest someone who get, I mean, my coordinates are there. Someone can get in touch with me, and I can curate a trip for them where they can take their kids and, spend a day out. It's just so beautiful when you're there with your family in the nature, away from the gadget. The feeling is just blissful. So I could do that, for sure. Then there is a beautiful thing that we followed was, and that can be followed, is a weekend digital fast. So this is like probably going later on when you started detoxing and are able to have control over your life, and you can say no on screen time and have your old school timer going off, and you put the phone down. There's something which is known as a weekend digital fast, where you can decide, okay, from Friday night at 12, say 11:30, 12 p.m. in the night, you can decide the time till about 5 p.m. on Saturday. No one picks up the digital gadgets or watch any OTT platforms on TV, or do any kind of that stuff. And then you automatically start finding time to do things, or probably say, or maybe having a family chat with your kids. How did their day went? Having a conversation where there's no involvement of technology. You would enjoy the lunch together. You could even it would be so it is a freaky idea for a lot of people right now, but as a family, go out on Saturday lunch, none of you taking your phone with you, and having this conversation. See how that feels for you. It could feel really odd, but at first, but then once you get used to it, it's something which is just beautiful. So you can have these weekend digital fasts, do things, play board games, clean your cupboard, want to do your weekend kind of cleaning, want to get rid of old stuff from your wardrobe or from your house or anything. You will just come to know there are so much things that you could do, and find joy in that. So this weekend digital fast is a really another beautiful thinking. Yeah, absolutely. Digital intermittent fasting. How we do intermittent fasting for 13, 14 hours, but liking to start off with like a 5, 6 hours. This is something, from like 11:30 from the previous night till 5 in the evening, which is what, about 12, 16, 17 hours of no technology. You will see the wonders it does for you. And use your calendar to schedule a week. I mean, uh, uh, it's you can use your calendar, prioritize your work, what you need to do, when you need to do, how you need to do it, put it on a Google calendar. This is, you're using the digital technology in a smart way, and schedule your weekly tasks, your monthly tasks, your daily tasks by an hour. When you're giving an instruction or a routine instruction to your body will automatically follow that command. So Google Calendar, use technology in a smart way to schedule a week and prioritize. Do you think I can use an old time diary instead of to schedule? Of course, you can use an old time. That's even better, actually. That's an excellent idea. You can always use a old time diary instead, to schedule instead of the Google Calendar. Absolutely. So, typical story, right? You log on, you don't realize how the time goes. You realize it's become really non-productive. It becomes an habit. It reinforces the behavior. You're still on the gadget. Probably today you're spending 30 minutes on a reel just before going to sleep, and tomorrow you realize that 30 minutes is not enough. It's gone to 1 hour, it's gone to 2 hours, or you're surfing Facebook, or you're doing online shopping, or you're gaming, or whatever that be. How we develop, what do you call, sensitivity. Our resistance increases, like an alcohol. Like one peg is, you start feeling good, and next time one peg is not enough, it's two peg, it's three pegs, it's four pegs, maybe it's half a glass of wine, then a 3 glasses of wine, then you need a bottle. Similarly, it's a digital addiction. It's you The more and more you get habituated to it, the more you become a slave to it, the more it kinds of take control of your life without you even realizing. So this is just a typical story flow, guys. So just be conscious of you getting stuck into this vicious cycle of logging on non-productive hours, and the behavioral patterns. This is a beautiful and such a hard-hitting quote: is, if you don't set your priorities, then you will be someone else's priority. So just let that sink in. So just type in true in the chat box if you really believe in it. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is another beautiful kind of, what do you say, an application, or a methodology which is called time boxing. What you do with this is, there are certain apps. You define what are your utility apps, okay, and write them down. Like, you can take notes, write down what are your utility apps, whether it's the weather app, whether it's your meditation app, whether it's a fitness app, whether it's maps for you, which you need essentially to get from one point to another, your calendar, like if you want to schedule stuff for your meetings, or like a notepad for immediately taking notes on your gadgets, or laptops, whatever that may be. So define what are your utility apps. Yeah, that is really important. Then you go into defining what are endless apps. These are designed so that you spend endless time on it. For example, emails are there. There are news channels. There are gamings. Entertainment like Netflix Prime. There's social media. There's shopping. There is stocks. Now we have this whole craze about crypto stocks. So these are all endless apps which are designed to keep you engaged. You need to set limit for them. So for example, you say emails, I'll probably check every 3 hours. Nothing's going to happen or drastically change my life if I don't check every 5 minutes. If I have to check if I don't check my emails every 5 minutes. News channel, restrict them. Decide which movie or series you would like to watch and for how long. Restricted. Gaming restricted. You're using 2 hours, 3 hours of gaming. Man, reduce that to 1 hour. That's 2 hours of time saved where you can do a lot more productive thing. Decide which movie or series you will watch. Like I said, decide the time. Decide on social media how much time do you want to spend. Decide on shopping what you want. What is necessary, shop and then get off. Stocks change. Are you a daytime trader? If not, why you need to check your stocks every time when there is a pop-up coming about? So all these endless app becomes like a drugs of choice. I kind of put it drugs of choice. So restrict them and limit them. Can you share the slide that's super on the head? Yeah, of course I can. I will find out a way how it is. I'm going to kind of encapsulate this all into a masterclass, and then I'm going to put it out there for people to see this, of course, because if it can impact even one person, my job is done. Okay. Like I said before, structure creates freedom, guys. Structure creates freedom. Many people feel, I want to take it up, life how it is. I want to be spontaneous. There'll be so much, I'll take it how it goes. But there's so much right now going on. And if you don't prioritize your task, then you will become a slave. Discipline is the work and command that you give to yourself and your body. So let that sink in. Discipline is the work and command that you give to yourself and your body. So that's so important, guys. So get structured. Structured actually creates freedom. So time boxing, set your top 3 priorities of the day. The time it's going to take. There's no ideal time. You're going to realize how much time you need. You get it wrong the first time, you learn, and then you'll accordingly block your time. Then you call an outreach time where you'll use your endless app for this time, what I discussed before. Maybe it's your email, social media, shopping, your OTT platform. It allows you to say no, so you don't have to get distracted at this time. You define an outreach time for it. And then suppose you're constantly thinking about your project or procrastinating or worrying, define even a days which are like a worrying day. So for example, if it's a Sunday, you define this as your worrying time, schedule it. You can do all these things. So, you don't have to worry about it during the week. You schedule it during your weekends or your Sundays. So schedule that worrying time. This is a typical example of a time boxing software. These are color coded. They can be done on Google Calendar, Zoom Calendar, or you can do it like old school on your journal. And I won't go into the details on how to do it, but you can color code it for physical activity or exercise. You can color code one for kids and family. You can color code one for your project that you're working on. You can color code it for your morning routine. You can color code it for the routine jobs that you do. One color code for worrying and thinking about something else. So this is called time boxing, and schedule it for the week, each week, the day, and each day, the hour. So this is something which is, beautiful. So please use this time boxing, time management technique, guys. It's absolutely fantastic. I think we are almost, I don't want to take much of your time. I just want to end up with saying that, as I told you, that I'm a transformation coach. And for those individuals struggling with wellness and fitness issues, I help them transform from the core of their being. I have to learn more about my coaching program. You can just click on this link before, which I'm going to put it on the chat as well. It's called www.transformwithab.grwebsite.com. This tells you more about my transformation program. And then there is this other, and if you want to schedule a free 45-minute transformation call with me, you could do that. It's on Zoom. I'm sharing the link here on the chat. In this call, we can clearly understand where you are, where you want to be, what are the roadblocks, and we can map out a 3-step action plan to clarify your wellness journey. And as part of everyone who stayed on till the end of this masterclass with me, I'm very happy that I just want to announce and give you this freebie. This is what I call is Master Your Mind ebook, which you can download. It's a free book, ebook talking about changing your mindsets and how to live a better life. So I'm going to share that link right now on the chat with you. That's the link for downloading the ebook for Mastering Your Mind. And I want to end up with this beautiful quote, and this relates so much to this masterclass that we have, is time is the coin of life. Only you can determine how it will be spent. This was by Carl Sandburg. And this is an amazing quote, to end this session on. And I just want to thank you all for being on this masterclass with me. I hope the information you found here is not purely for taking notes, but for application. You start applying this in your life from this instant or from tomorrow to get rid yourself of this digital addiction and reclaim these hours back to be more productive in your life. As we all have a finite time, we are just mortals on this plane and we don't want to waste it scrolling away. So thank you for being a wonderful audience, and have a great day and a week ahead, and see you soon.